Today we're looking at 3 verses from John chapter 12, and each of the 3 verses has a fairly significant use of the word kai. Kai obviously is just and or also, but it is the second most prevalent word in the New Testament. It occurs 9,153 times. The only word that occurs more often than kai is the various forms of the article the. So these 3 uses are fairly significant exegetically. That's not always the case with conjunctions, but I think as we flesh out this brief little passage in John 12, you'll see the importance of the word kai in this particular instance and how it affects the telling of the story. So let's do a little background before we get to chapter 12. In chapter 11 of John, Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead. The resulting uproar of a resurrection taking place is that the leading priests, the chief priests, in conjunction with the Pharisee-led Sanhedrin, begin to plot to eliminate Jesus. And in case eliminate is too subtle, they are looking to kill Jesus to get him out of the picture. We get to chapter 12 and we see Jesus anointed by the other Mary, with the tears and perfume on his feet, etc. We see Judas complain, we see Jesus rebuke him, and then we get these 3 verses of exposition from John. John leaves the narrative of the story of the anointing of Jesus and gives us some insight into events happening elsewhere. He makes no effort to tell us how he knows these things, or how he came to know these things. He just states them as fact, as part of the story. So let us take a look at John chapter 12, verse 9. This is my translation. Then a great crowd of the Jews came to know that he was there, and they came not on account of Jesus only, but in order that they might also see Lazarus, whom he raised from the dead. So we're told that a great crowd came to see Jesus, but not Jesus only. They also came to see Lazarus, because I don't know about you, I have not had the opportunity to see many people who used to be dead and no longer are. So it seems like there's an interesting part. Let's look at it in Koine, the phrase concerning Lazarus particularly. Alhina kai ton Lazaron idosin. So alhina, but in order that kai ton Lazaron, also Lazarus, idosin, they might see. So it's in the subjunctive mood, the verb, they might see, in order that they might see. Who might see? Those from the Jews who had come out to see Jesus, that they might also kai ton Lazaron, so they might also get a look at Lazarus. So there are 2 attractions. Jesus is obviously one attraction, the raiser, and then Lazarus, the raised, is the other attraction. But that they might also see Lazarus. There's our first kai, the also. So there's 2 attractions, Jesus and Lazarus. They come to see Jesus, but also that they might get a glimpse of the man who used to be dead, Lazarus. So let's move on to verse 10. Again, my translation. And the leading priests plotted in order that they might also kill Lazarus. So let's take a look at that in Koine. Ebuliusanto de ho archieres hina kai ton Lazaron apoktenosin. So let's start right from the beginning. Ebuliusanto de. So, but they were plotting. Who was plotting? Hoi archeres, the high priests, the leading priests. What were they plotting about? Hina kai ton Lazaron apoktenosin. Hina, in order that, or so that. Kai, also, ton Lazaron, Lazarus, they might kill. So we get another subjunctive, just like the previous verse, in order that they might also kill Lazarus. Well, we already know from chapter 11 that they have a plot in place. They're working on a plan to eliminate Jesus. They already are planning to kill Jesus. Now they say, not just Jesus, but also Lazarus. So think about verse 9. People were coming out because they heard Jesus was there, but they were coming out not only to see Jesus, but also Lazarus. This verse is a parallel. The leading priests are not only plotting to kill Jesus, but also Lazarus. So the Kai is used in the same way in verse 9 as it is in verse 10. There's an interest in Jesus, but not Jesus only, also in Lazarus. The interest in going to see in verse 9 and the interest in killing in verse 10. Pretty wild stuff. Why so strong a reaction? Why are they looking to have both of these people put to death? Let's take a look at verse 11. Once again, my translation. Because on his account, many were departing from the Jews and were believing in Jesus. Let's look in Koine. Hote poloi, because many, diauton, on his account, hupagon, were departing. So many were departing. Many whom? From among the Jews, ton Judaion. And here it comes. Kai epistusen eis ton Jesun. So Kai also, and they were believing epistusen in eis ton Jesun, in Jesus. Because on his account, whose account? Lazarus' account. How do we know it's Lazarus? That it's on his account? Because Lazarus is the immediate antecedent to the pronoun auton. In verse 10, they were talking specifically about Lazarus in order that they might also kill Lazarus. Now we're told many from among the Jews were departing Judaism, were departing the temple, were departing their allegiance to what was happening in the religious center managed and controlled by the leading priests, and were going off into faith in Jesus on account of him, the one who they now need to kill with Jesus because he's become an attraction and a catalyzer of faith in Jesus. So there are people departing mainstream Judaism. Why does that matter if you're one of the high priests? Because that's your sphere of influence and control. It's your livelihood. It's what makes you important. You're important in the community because of your role in the religious cult. If the religious cult, and I don't mean cult in an offensive way, I mean it in a technical way. If the religious cult is losing its influence, you are losing your influence. So now they say, this guy Jesus is drawing crowds away from us already. Now this guy Lazarus is a catalyzer, is enhancing that. It's happening at a greater scope and at a greater pace because Lazarus used to be dead and is not dead anymore. And as a result, there were people who were interested in Jesus. Now there are more people interested in Jesus because there's evidence of Jesus being something other than just another teacher, a rabbi, a moral figure, a good guy. He takes people who are dead and makes them no longer dead. We've got to do something. Our control, our power, our influence, our position in society, our very livelihood becomes at stake if this is allowed to continue. So what we saw was in that last Kai, so in the first two Kais, the people were coming out to see Jesus, not only Jesus, but also Lazarus. The leading priests were plotting to kill Jesus, but not only Jesus, also Lazarus. Now they say we have to act because the problem here is on account of this Lazarus, people are not only leaving, they're not only showing less allegiance to us, but they're transferring that allegiance and placing their faith in Jesus. So also, and, Kai. We see this big difference. Now, here's a question. Are the leading priests doing this for purely venal motives, or is there a high motive, perhaps the highest motive involved? Is it just because they're protecting their own territory and their own position, their own influence? Or are they saying, we are the covenant people, we're the holders of the sacred elements of the covenant between God and Israel, and people are being misled, people are being drawn away from the true faith to something other, and we must do whatever it takes to protect God's people from this pernicious influence? John doesn't say. So we don't know, I don't know, the text doesn't indicate clearly what the issue is. It's up to you to make that interpretive leap and decision, or not. Or you can just take the story as it's written on its surface and say, here's what I know for sure. They wanted to kill Jesus. They also wanted to kill Lazarus. People were leaving to go see Jesus. They were also going to see Lazarus. The effect was less people participating in the Jewish cult at Jerusalem, and more people putting their faith in Jesus. Take it as you will, do with it what you will. What we see here is, from a Koine standpoint, is those three kais, also, and, are significant in the construction of this tiny little paragraph of 3 short verses, and also in the exegesis and interpretation of those 3 verses. What is the story being told? It's a story of Jesus and also Lazarus, both as an attraction, as the subject of the plot for murder, and then of the transition of people's faith from the religion of their forefathers to a belief in the Jesus who takes people who were dead and makes them dead no more. Kai, also, and pretty awesome stuff. Thanks for watching this video. If it was good for you, please like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And see you next time. Until then, Charis Kai Irene Humin, grace and peace to you.